Why do narcissistic people not want you to do anything in life that brings you joy? It's simple. They don't want you to do anything that's going to bring you joy in life, because where you have joy is where you're going to find community. What I challenge people to do as a coach is to start to take steps in the face of a narcissistic person that you're dealing with. So if you're, for an example, in an abusive marriage with a narcissistic person who has told you over a 15-year period that you're dumb, the things you're into are stupid, why are you doing that job, you're not making any money, why do you hang out with those people, they're dummies, right? And this is all the bullying stuff that narcissists like to tell you. And let's say that it's gotten you into this place where you're now not doing anything and you're afraid to. So you've been sitting, you're in this 15-year marriage now, and you're sitting, you have no more hobbies, you have no job. All that you do with your day and with your life is to sit around, and the thoughts of the narcissistic spouse are all that occupy your mind, and you're living in fear. You're afraid to go do the things you want to do because you don't want to deal with the narcissist. You can't stand the thought of them coming back around saying, you're stupid and this is dumb, and why are you doing this and why are you doing that? So you don't do that anymore, nor do you approach the narcissist and want to talk to them. Why? Because you're afraid of their response. Nor do you want to leave the situation. Why? Well, because you're afraid of what might happen. So once again, you're stuck in this place of fear. So as a coach, one of the things I try to tell people to do is, you could always just up and leave. You could just disappear. Nothing's stopping you. Just leave, do paperwork, file papers, disappear, go. Depending on your situation, if that's what you want to do, if that makes it easy. Listen, I'm not telling anybody to do that. I'm not one that goes out there and says, go get a divorce. It's a big deal. It's a very personal decision. And I would never tell somebody that's the only option. But one of the things I try to help coach people do is start taking steps. Even if it means you build up the courage to go and say, you know what, I'm going to go get a job. And yeah, you're going to hear some nonsense from a narcissistic bully's mouth. They're going to tell you, that's stupid. You're not going to make any money. You'll get fired right away. You're going to have to learn. This is where you learn to say no. You learn to look at them in the face and say, I don't care. I don't care. I'm doing it anyways. I'm going. And you get to turn the tables. So if you're dealing with a narcissistic spouse, you can turn the tables and say, I'm doing it. I'm going. And if you don't like that I'm going to get a job, then you can divorce me. You can leave. But I'm going to get a job. I don't care what you say. I don't care. You take that step and you go get that job. Yes, it's going to be harder. But the more you work this job, you start to discover who you are again and the joy that maybe you have in working. And then your peace comes later. You see, your peace in this life comes from a part of standing up for yourself because you're building confidence. You don't just get confidence and then go do the things you want to do. The confidence in your life comes from the moment that you take that initial stance and say, I'm going to get a job. I don't care what you think. And then you go do it. And now guess what? You have one bit more of confidence. You have a bit more confidence that now faces the fear that you've been living in just from one step. And look, you can do that without divorcing. And by the way, going and getting a divorce, just running, I'm sure many of you have been out. That's a huge leap, right? That's a giant leap of faith. That's a giant leap of confidence, right? You could just start with small steps of confidence. I'm going to get a job. Or, you know what? I'm going to call my old girlfriend up. I'm going to call my old buddy up, and I'm going out. We're going out for a weekend. Solo trip. Your narcissistic spouse or narcissistic boyfriend or whatever may come at you sideways. Why are you doing that? I don't like that person. That person is no good for you. Blah, 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 blah. Diarrhea of their bullying mouth, right? So what does building confidence look like? It looks like, once again, you saying, I don't care. I'm going. You can divorce me if you like. Divorce me over it. And then you go, right? And once again, you build that much more confidence because now you know how to step up, say no. A lot of people are in fear. Oh, but you don't know my spouse. You don't know this person. They get so angry and blah, blah, blah. And I don't know what they're not capable. Do they want to spend the rest of their life in jail? Then tell them, be my guest. Do what you feel you need to do. Jail's not that far from here. You could spend the rest of your life if you overstep your bounds on me, right? And I know what I'm talking about. Sounds like it's hard, but it's not. And in the culture that we live in, society we live in, it's easier for you to do that than you realize. And this is how you put bullies in check, by the way. But the point is to start to live your life doing the things that you enjoy doing. And then as a consequence of living your life, you're going to build confidence and self-esteem. That's going to start to balance out your fear in this life. And then ultimately, you're going to get to a place of having peace. Your peace in this life will come from you taking steps that build confidence, not the other way around. So as you sit, because you're with an abusive person, you're in an abusive marriage, as you sit there, not doing anything with your life anymore, except thinking about all the abuse you're enduring, as you sit there, the longer you sit there, the longer you avoid becoming the person that you are, the longer that you avoid doing the things you want to do, the more at risk you are to never find peace and never find confidence. Right? I've learned this. It's absolutely 100% true. And as I continue on, I'm going to continue making steps that's going to contribute more to my confidence and then my ultimate peace in this life. And I want the same for you. And this is why I'm here to coach you. This is why I take the one-on-one phone calls. This is why I'm doing this live coaching session with you. We want to get from this place, no matter what relationship you're in, no matter what type of abusive person you're dealing with, we want to get to a place where you are taking steps, one foot in front of the other. You're learning to just say no to the other person when they tell you, don't do that. Don't do that. That's stupid. Don't do that. Just say no. No, I will do it. Let them flail their arms around. Let them go crazy. Let them bully out on you. Because here's the deal. And I bring this up to people all the time. They're like, but I'm afraid. I don't want to deal with it. You deal with them anyways, don't you? It doesn't matter with these abusive, narcissistic personalities. It doesn't matter if you're doing the things you enjoy or if you're sitting your butt on the couch doing nothing. They're going to treat you the same way all the time, no matter what, aren't they? Don't they? If they're abusive, they're going to be abusive whether you are doing nothing or if you're out doing what you want to do. So if they're going to be abusive, if you're stuck in a situation right now dealing with an abusive spouse or abusive family members, you might as well let them act like loud, bullying weirdos. You might as well give them a reason. Let them flail their arms around while you are out taking steps, building your confidence at the very least. Right? Does this make sense to you? If you're going to be with somebody who is controlling and abusive and wants to yell at you for everything, then you might as well be doing what you want and let them yell about that. Otherwise, I promise you, these abusive narcissistic types will yell at you because you're sitting on the couch and they don't like the way your legs are folded. They don't like the side of the couch you're sitting on. They're not going to like the way the pillow looks. They're going to find something to abuse you over because that's their nature. See, again, I'm going to go back to the basics with you. Abusive people don't abuse you because of anything you're doing. Narcissists are not mean to you because of anything you're doing. Narcissistic people are mean because it's their nature. And they will find a reason to combat you no matter what. If they've got to find, I don't know, something that fell on the carpet, they will ruin your day over finding something that fell on the carpet. Amen? And you don't need that. So you might as well, in these types of situations, you're better off saying, goodbye, I'm going to get a job, I'm going to work my job, and let them yell at that because they're going to yell anyways. At the least, what you're doing is building confidence that other way. When you are living your life being who you are, when you get back into your nature and your love and your self-expression and your freedom and your autonomy, at least you have that. So at least you have your confidence being built up while they're being arrogant and rude and flailing their arms around. So don't live in fear. that if you start to be who you are, that you're going to make the narcissist angry. They're going to be angry no matter what. The biggest middle finger you can put up towards narcissistic bullies is to live your life, build your confidence, let them get upset. Let them blow their steam. Who cares? Who cares? In time, you will build your confidence up. You'll have your job. You'll have your work. You'll have your friends. You'll have your support network. You'll have enough people in your life. If you just start taking the steps, you'll have enough people in your life to find your power and your confidence, which, by the way, is the narcissist's worst nightmare. Obviously, they don't want you. Why do they really not want you to work, by the way? Why do they really not want you to be out dancing? Why do narcissistic people not want you to do anything in life that brings you joy? It's simple. They don't want you to do anything that's going to bring you joy in life, because where you have joy is where you're going to find community. That's it. You're going to find support. You're going to find people who are going to care about you. Why? Because they resonate with you. You resonate with them. You have commonality. Now you have a support network. That's a narcissist's worst nightmare. That's what they're really afraid of. And by the way, a good support network, good friends, comes from you being in tune with what you really love. If you like to dance, you're surrounded by other people that like to dance. Guess what? You have that in common. You like to do art, you surround yourself with other people who like to do art. Guess what? You all have that in common. Instant friendships, instant places where you can start to meet people you have things in common with. Now you have a support system that's bigger. That's what narcissists are afraid of. See, they would rather you sit on the couch eating potato chips and just stay there so they can do whatever and then come and call you names. Stupid, dummy. Did you do anything today? And make fun of you, whatever. I'm telling you, controlling, abusive narcissists, they're next level breed of weird. And you do not want to allow your life to be ruled and governed by this next level weird. So start taking steps right now based on who you are, what you love. You don't want to get to heaven and have God question you. What did you do with the amount of love I gave you to express yourself? What did you do with the gifts of dancing and laughing that I gave you? What did you do with your life? You don't want your answer to be, well, I didn't do anything because my abusive husband or my abusive wife was always mad at me, so I didn't do that. God's not going to care. I don't think God's going to be impressed that you sat around subservient to a person who robbed you of your life. If you ask me personally, I think that would anger God. I think it would disappoint God to no end to see his child, to see his creation being you, squandering and wasting your gifts and talents because you're with somebody who's yelling and screaming at you, flapping their jaw at you in disapproval. And as a result, you've allowed that to keep you stuck. I believe that would disappoint God to no end. So many of us, I believe God's looking at our lives disappointed more than anything. We think that we're doing the right thing. We think we're honoring church and we're honoring pastors and we're honoring our family by staying in these abusive situations, when in reality, we are robbing ourselves of what God has for us. We've taken for granted the gifts God has given us, and we're turning them off because of bullying narcissistic people. And we want to sit back and act like we're doing something godly. Oh no, I'm being a good Christian because I'm sacrificing what I want to do because it makes this person angry. I'm sacrificing myself because it makes someone angry. So that's what God wants me to do. No, wrong. Wrong. Because remember, narcissistic people are not angry over you. They're angry because they're angry people. That's just how God made them. God made them loud, arrogant, nasty, yelling, screaming people, right? Now, I'm not going to put them down for that. Go do your thing, right? Listen, we all know those types of personalities, right? That people like to bully, yell, and call people names and this and that. We've got to get to a place in our life, you and me, where we're able to say, okay, that's fine. Go do your thing, dude. You want to yell and scream people? You want to call people names? That's fine. Do it. But I'm not going to be around it, and I'm not going to let me stop living my life. I'm going to be me. This is where we need to be. We need to stop this misunderstanding that we're doing the right Christian thing by staying in these abusive situations and calling it service, calling it I'm sacrificing, calling it compromise. God doesn't care about compromise. God doesn't care about that. Right? The kingdom of heaven is like God who gave a certain amount to people. He gave so many talents to this person, so many talents to that person, so many talents to this person, and then said, go do what you can do with your talents. And you know the story. The one doubled his talents. The other earned a little bit more off his talents. The other one, as the ancient story goes, the other one went and sat on his talents. What does that mean? He didn't do anything. You know why he didn't do anything? He said, I was afraid. I was too afraid to use the talents you gave me. And so I sat on them. And what happened? God was very disappointed in the story. Don't be that. Don't allow narcissistic people to cause you to sit on your talents. Don't allow abusive family members, a spouse, anybody to cause you to sit on your talents. You're going to be responsible for that. Your abusers, whether they're your family or your spouse, they never gave you your talents to begin with. That comes from a source that you have yet to come face to face with. But make no mistake about it, at some point you're going to come face to face with the one who gave you your talents, and you're only going to be questioned about your talents. That's what you're going to be questioned about. So my challenge for you this week is to figure out what these talents are and to start to use them unapologetically. I'll always be here for phone calls, right? Schedule some time with me if you need it. I love each and every one of you. The Royal We community. All right, I'm done. How are you all doing? I'm done with my spiels now.